Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things West Indies cricket. By the fans, for the fans.
And I listen to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
Indeed you are, people listening to Caribbean Cricket Podcast, and welcome back to another short episode, another short edition. I'm one half of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, Machel St. Patrick Hewitt, and if you are an existing long-time supporter of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, then you know all that, and I don't need to go into loads and loads of information about who we are and what we do. If you are new, however, lock in. We're the best out there. You wanna listen to West Indies analysis. You want to know about men's cricket, women's cricket, boys cricket, girls cricket, academy cricket. We're the ones you come to really find out the kind of authentic, detailed analysis of what's going on, you know. But anyways, as I always say at the top of the show, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Carib Cricket. Subscribe, like, share, subscribe, press the like button, you know. Come on, YouTube people, YouTube family, you know how it all goes. If you're listening on the audios, then leave a rating and a review if you're listening on an app that allows you to do so. If you'd like to support the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, of course, head to www.patreon.com/Carib Cricket. If you'd like to support us for as little as £1, 1 rupee, 1 yen, $1, whatever it might be, wherever you're from, to support the podcast and help keep us on the road. And if you just want to find out everything about us, go to www.caribbeancricketpodcast.com. That is our website. And you can find us on Facebook, of course. Just put in Caribbean Cricket Podcast into Facebook and you will find the group. I will accept you and you can start chatting and all of that. So why am I recording this video? Listen, the Headley Weeks Tri-Series finished about 10 minutes ago. I knew it was going to, as soon as I tuned in earlier today, I saw the type of nonsense that was going on, and I was like, yeah, this game's going to finish today. So I'll record the video at the end of the match to say who I think should go on the 18 tour to Bangladesh. At the time of recording, I am assuming that the squad, Santoki and I had assumed that they were going to announce the squad anyway on Saturday. We think that they were going to wait until the end of the 4 days and then say, and now here's the squad to go to Bangladesh for the 18 tour. But now it's over today on day 3. It could be released early Saturday morning Caribbean time, I would assume, now that there's no cricket for people to watch. First things first, before I tell you who I think West Indies should select for the 18 tour to Bangladesh, let me just get this off my chest. Credit to West Indies Academy notwithstanding, and it speaks volumes to the kind of coaching that Andre Coley, Graham West, all of those Brabazon, I think, is involved in it. All of those who are involved in the training of the West Indies Academy. Kudos to you, because they look like the most cohesive team in the competition. I'm not going to say they had the best players in the competition, because there were individuals on both Team Headley and Team Weeks who did perform creditably, right? But in terms of cohesive the Team West Indies Academy have won the competition, I think, because they won first innings points in essence against Team Weeks. Effectively, if it matters, they win the Headley Weeks series. Okay, cool. So there must be praise given to the team as a collective for the West Indies Academy. Then obviously some individuals, Kevin Anderson, Kevin Wickham, Kirk McKenzie, Johan Lane, Naeem Young. There were individuals for sure, Kelvin Pittman. There were individuals who performed creditably at different points, Ashmead Ned, Joshua Bishop, who performed creditably at different points in the course of the Academy's 2 games. That's the positives. On the flip side, what percentage should I put on it? I would argue that 65% of the cricket that we watched, most of it stemming from Team Headley, was a bag of fart. And let's be honest, we've got to call it as it is, people. 65% of what I watched in that Headley Weeks series was a shocking indictment of the standards and quality of regional cricket. I was one of the ones, and you can go back in the Caribbean Cricket Podcast archives and watch previous videos I did on it when we found out that the Headley Weeks Tri Series was going to happen. I did a video on it saying, yeah, actually, this is probably a good idea, because the way it was sold and the way I understood it was, we are going to effectively look at the 5-round West Indies Championship and pick the best 24-ish players, put them in Team Headley, put them in Team Weeks, and we're going to see elite cricket between Team Headley, Team Weeks, and everyone just assumed that the West Indies Academy players would effectively just be making up numbers. There is nobody who could have predicted that we would see what we actually saw, which was senior established cricketers on the West Indies domestic circuit looking unprofessional, looking ill-prepared, looking like it was a joke thing they were playing, almost playing as if there was no one to impress, almost playing as if there wasn't the prize of going on the West Indies A tour. Maybe it's not a prize to them, but almost as if there was no prize, or there was no West Indies selection to aim for as a result of this tri-series competition. The cricket was shoddy. Some of the dismissals from game one, where it was Team Headley versus the West Indies Academy, that match set the tone. Some of the dismissals from the Team Headley batsmen in that very first game were shocking application. People trying to come to the wicket and just beat ball, and almost treating the West Indies Academy's players with disrespect, in so much as thinking, I don't even have to get myself in. I can just attack here. But the worst thing is, that was the first game between Team Headley and West Indies Academy. When Team Headley came to play again in this final match versus Team Weeks, nothing had really changed. If you look at the scorecard from this match, which has just ended, Team Headley made 177 and 153. Okay, Team Weeks only made 235 when they came to bat, but I mean, and then they chased down the 90, whatever it was, to win for the lost 2 wickets. They win the game by 8 wickets. But if this is elite cricket, come on, sometimes you just watch forms of West Indies cricket, whether domestic or international, and it just leaves you thinking, should we just give up on this, man? Should we just stop watching? Because we're watching for the love of the game. No matter where you are in the world, whether you're listening to this in America, whether you're listening to this in the UK, Canada, the Caribbean, that's kind of like our top 4 regions. India, if you're just somebody who has an bypassing an interest in West Indies cricket. At what point do we look at things like this and go, let me just stop watching? Because I kind of reached that point today when I was watching the Team Weeks versus Team Headley match. I tuned in, and within about 20 minutes, I said, boy, this is curry goat cricket. Let me just turn this off, because I'm not seeing anything productive here. The bowlers are getting wickets, and they're not even having to bowl good balls to get wickets. They just know if they just put the ball on a spot, the batters must surely get out. Come on, man. What's this, man? Come on. Stop doing us like this. We're out here still trying to support and rally and want the best for West Indies cricket, and then you're serving up this for us to watch. Come on, man. I've had enough. And I obviously haven't had enough, because when the 18 tour starts, of course I'll watch that. When the ODI World Cup qualifiers start, of course I'll watch that. When CPL starts, of course I'll watch that. When India come, of course I'll watch that. But come on, man. You lot are playing with us. We shouldn't have to be subjected to such poor quality cricket. West Indies are doing their best, and by West Indies I mean Cricket West Indies. They're doing their best to get the cricket out there. They're trying to engage a new fan base of West Indian fans, as well as they've come kicking and screaming into the digital age. We now know that whenever West Indies cricket goes on, in whatever form, women's, boys, rising stars, men's, Headley Weeks, West Indies Championship, we can go to the Cricket West Indies YouTube channel and watch it for free. We're there, we're watching, we're in the comments, we're commenting, we're trying to rally, and you're serving up this. Cricket West Indies can be blamed for a lot of things. Historically, they can be blamed for a lot of things. They can blame for this, blame them for that, right? But at the end of the day, the players are still the players. They are still the ones who have to put on a good enough product for people to want to watch. What I saw in at least 65% of this Headley Weeks series turned me off. And if it turned me off and I'm super dedicated, what's it doing to the casual fan? This ain't helping grow the game. This ain't helping grow interest. People are just watching and going, nah, this is shit, bruv. I'm not watching this. Do you know what I mean? Get me in the comments below. At me at Carib Cricket, Twitter and Instagram. If you disagree, maybe you agree. But come on, it was shocking, bruv. It was shocking. Like, I barely watched this Headley Weeks game. That's how shocking it was to me. I was just like, what's the point? What's the point? But anyways, I still got to do my job. We still run the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. We still purport to be the best independent media outlet covering West Indies cricket. So with that said and done, it's only right that having looked at the Headley Week series and having watched the majority of it, it's only right that I try and create the squad. And I try and say, this should be the team that goes to Bangladesh for the A Tour. Now, before I tell you the 16 names that I've got, 17 in fact, and I don't know how many people they're taking, I think they'll take somewhere between 15 to 17. Because unless I'm mistaken, there are 3 unofficial test matches. It's 3, isn't it? There's 3 unofficial test matches. So I think if there's 3, you should take as many people as you reasonably can and give people as much exposed game time as you reasonably can. So I've selected 17. What we just need to be clear of, people. So before I give you my names, what we need to be clear of is, and I said this on the last video, I think, what is the purpose of an A team? We already know that Kurt McKenzie is there. So as much as I'm giving you 17 names, we know, because Kurt McKenzie released it, whether he was supposed to do that or not. I think it was Mason and Guess or whichever show he went on. And he said, Desmond Haynes rang me on Monday. I'm going. So McKenzie has inadvertently told people that he's going. So we know one of the names already. So obviously he's in my squad. But that McKenzie name is quite interesting because it raises the question about what's the purpose of a West Indies A team? Is it to give an opportunity to the most talented members of the West Indies Academy side? Because we can't just say they're West Indies Academy anymore. They took part in this tri-series and they won it, and they were the most competitive team in it. So the Academy moniker notwithstanding, technically we have to treat those Academy players as equals with the Headley and Weeks players and say, well, boy, McKenzie hit a double ton. Come, McKenzie, you come on the A-team tour. But disclaimer, only some of those Academy players played in the preceding 5 rounds of the West Indies Championship. So, for example, as good as Johan Lane was, he's just played 2 games. Some of the people in have played 7 games. They've played 5 rounds in the West Indies Championship. And then they've then played 2 extra games for Headley and Weeks. So they've played 7. Can you really take a man off the basis of 2 games for the West Indies Academy? I don't think you can. So it makes me go full circle again to the question, what's the purpose of the A team? Is it to take youngsters, or is it to take the people, and this is my personal view, or is it to take the people who are the most likely next in line to play for the West Indies should there be injuries? Different people standing on different lines and different places with regards to the argument here. Me personally, I maintain that the point of a West Indies A team, yes, you look to the future, but so okay, let's use England as an example. The England Lions is effectively England A. Now, in fairness, with England Lions, they pick the England Lions team very much with an eye on the future, but also they will take players where it's like, yeah, we can see them playing for England within a year or 2. Our standards are the quality of our players and the standards and facilities in the West Indies is far lower, right? So as you can't really pick someone for a West Indies A team and say, yeah, we think they're going to play in a year or 2, because are they really good enough in a year or 2? If you see what I mean, you could pick a youngster. Is Kurt McKenzie really going to be good enough in a year or 2 to play the West Indies? No, he's going to need a significant amount of domestic cricket still to develop his game. Is Alec Athenase good enough to play for the West Indies in a year or two? Yes. Well, he's already in the squad, or already been in a squad. So my point is, what's the priority here? Picking players who are young but not really ready to graduate to the West Indies team anytime soon, or picking players on the fringes who are effectively in a greater pool of about 20 to 25 players who should be the ones who are stepping in. Should we drop a Ruston Chase? Should we drop a this person or that person? And then finally, how many of the test players should go on the A tour? And I said this in the last video. How many of the test players should go on the A tour, given somebody put in one of my videos, a previous video, though, can't remember the guy's name. Get at me in the comments below if you think it's you. You said to me, whoever that guy was, Bangladesh conditions do not mimic West Indies conditions. I hear your point. I disagree ever so slightly, but I hear your point, right? In so much as, okay, Bangladesh is probably lower and slower than the West Indies, but it's not completely alien. It's not like it's not in the West Indies. Permol and Cornwall are spinning man out for fun, right? In Bangladesh, spinners will spin man out for fun as well. So it's not completely alien in so much as the kind of difficulty level that people will face, or the type of players that people will face when they come to the crease, and so on and so forth, right? But the reality of the situation is this Bangladesh A tour is happening next week, or starts next week. They must be flying on Sunday, I would assume, or maybe Saturday evening, which is why I think the squad will be announced within the next 24 hours. So the point I'm trying to make is they will be out in Bangladesh for the pretty much the majority of May. They come back at the start of June. India arrive in July. If you do not take some of the test players on that tour, as I maintain, what is their rigorous prep prior to India turning up? So you do have to have some test players in this squad as well. And finally, we also have to acknowledge that the World Cup qualifiers are in June. So as much as people are saying take Shea Hope, and I've got him in my squad, Shea Hope, if he's going, probably can only go for the first unofficial test, maybe the second, and then he's probably got to fly back because he's got to go and captain the West Indies ODI side and prep for that West Indies ODI World Cup in Zimbabwe, because that is the priority. So there are also some names where I'm like, will they even get in? Because there is, on the immediate horizon, we've got the ODI World Cup qualifiers. And I should just throw in now, who the hell is the coach? As I'm recording this on the 5th of May, we don't even know, A, who's the coach for the Bangladesh A tour anyway. I'm presuming it's going to be Kohli, because who else is going to do it? B, who's the coach for the ODI side, and the World Cup qualifiers start in a month? C, who's the coach for the West Indies test side? We have a test series starting in about 2 months. Fam, only in West Indies cricket could I be recording a video and I don't even know who the coach is. But things are happening in about 3 days' time. It's mad. It's mad. It's crazy. It's mad. Anyways, here's my squad. I'm not even going to give justification for this video. I'm just announcing my squad. Selectors, this is who you should have picked in my mind. Openers, Kirk McKenzie, Tagenarine Shandapur, Zachary McCaskey. Middle order, Alec Athenase, Raymond Reefer, Darren Bravo, Brandon King, Devon Thomas, Shea Hope. Wicket keeper, Joshua Da Silva, with one of Thomas or Hope being the backup if needed. Bowlers, Kevin Sinclair, Akeem Jordan, Naeem Young, Dominic Drakes, Versamy Permol, Gudakesh Moti, Jair McAllister. Sorry. Then I think 2 of the next 3, and when I wrote this down, I couldn't decide who should be the 2. So 2 from Jair McAllister, Anderson Phillip, Marquino Mindley. 2 out of those 3 should go. So one more time for the squad, because maybe some of you didn't. So maybe some of you didn't have your pad and pen ready. Kirk McKenzie, Tagenarine Shandapur, Zachary McCaskey, Alec Athenase, Raymond Reefer, Darren Bravo, Brandon King, Devon Thomas, Shea Hope, Joshua Da Silva, Kevin Sinclair, Akeem Jordan, Naeem Young, Dominic Drakes, Vasami Permo, Gudakesh Moti, and then 2 from Jair McAllister, Anderson Phillip, and Marquino Mindley. People, I don't expect all of you to agree with me. Some of you might say there's some. I was looking at going, who might you lot come back at me and say, "Oh, Mash put him there." I have written down out of interest. I did write down Johan Lane, and I thought they might want to take him for experience, but obviously there's been a bereavement in his family, so I don't know if that's even an option. Obviously, some of you are going to say, what about Kevlin Anderson? He hit a 153. What about Kevin Wickham? He hit a 121. But the reason I haven't included them goes back to the point I made earlier on. Do you see Kevlin Anderson, who's only just broken into the Guyana side, or Kevin Wickham, who's only just broken into the Barbados side in the last West Indies Championship, being called up for West Indies anytime soon? I don't. I don't even see Kurt McKenzie being called up for West Indies anytime soon. But I can at least understand why Kurt got the pick, because if a man scores a double ton, as I said, you kind of have to pick him regardless. So you can take Kurt McKenzie as your kind of next gen pick. I don't think there's enough space in the squad to also accommodate Kevlin Anderson and Kevin Wickham when you've got to sprinkle within there your people like a Brandon King, your existing test players who you want to get ready for the test series like a Raymond Reefer, an Alec Athanaze, etc., a Tej Shandapur. I just don't think there's enough spaces in there. The only question marks within my squad where I could see some people saying to me, why have you got this person, is I can see some people saying, why is Darren Bravo in there? I'm not explaining that. I'm not explaining that to you lot. If you can't work out why Darren Bravo's in this squad, then I can't help you. That doesn't need an explanation. It's obvious why Darren Bravo should be in the squad. Shea Hope I've got in because, again, he went to Yorkshire, played his 3 games. I just think everybody, their dog and their family wants to find a way to get Shea Hope back into the test squad. If that's the intention, then he's got to go on the A tour. Irrespective of the ODI World Cup, you take him for at least 1 game. And that's the same justification for Brandon King as well. Just so that you can kind of keep them ticking over in red ball so that when they get their inevitable test squad pick, you can say, well, they played X amount of red ball cricket. They gave up some time to show us that they want to play red ball cricket for the West Indies. So King and Hope have to be in there. I don't think there's any other controversial picks in there. It's gonna be intriguing to me to see what you lot come at me with in the comments below, because I'm fairly certain there's gonna be people saying, nah, you shouldn't have picked that man, get Bravo out, this, that, and the other. Cool. Get at me at Carib Cricket, Twitter and Instagram. Let me know what you think about my picks. Get at me in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. Let me know if that's the squad you'd take. And if that isn't the squad you'd take, who would you quote unquote drop to take someone else? But bear in mind the caveats. There is an ODI World Cup qualifiers starting in 1 month. So even if you're calling this man, X man, remember that certain man have to go to that ODI World Cup. You've got all the IPL lot who have to fly straight from IPL to the ODI World Cup. Then you've got people like King and Hope who will be ODI World Cup qualifiers. People like King and Hope who will have to go to the ODI World Cup qualifiers as well. Even Gudakesh Moti might have to go to the ODI World Cup qualifiers. So bear all of Kevin Sinclair might be going. So bear all of that in mind when you're telling me about why this man should go or that man should go, and so on and so forth. Ladies and gents, I've been Machel St. Patrick here at 1/2 the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Thank you for listening. I await your comments. Thank you and good night.
We rule the cricket world. Now the rules seem coming.
Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things West Indies cricket. By the fans, for the fans.